What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another MFL video where today we're going to do a quick roundup of the games that we've played since the campaign has come back after the mid-season break, the fact that the transfer window has now closed and what my expectations are based on that. Looking at one of my absolute superstar players that is just flying at the moment, and also responding to some comments over the last few days of things I think are just really important for you guys to hear or to give a little bit of guidance on for some of you people who are constantly asking. To start with though, if you guys are enjoying the content and you wouldn't mind dropping a thumbs up, it of course would be very much appreciated. And if you are new here, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to get involved in MFL, make sure to use this link on the screen right now or in the pinned comment or description down below. And upon using that and meeting the criteria of spending $25 or more on packs, you will get yourself a free player. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, how much does it actually cost to play MFL? I have done a video on that on the channel. It is the one just before this, so go check that out if you was thinking about getting involved in MFL. And so with that, guys, welcome back. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the videos. The first thing I just want to do is give a massive thank you to the MFL development team for introducing something that I've been asking for a week or so, not even a long time, and it's already in there now. When we now go to progression, guys, we've got 24 hours, 7 days, current season, all, and custom. And custom allows us to do 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, or 4 days, 1, 4, 8, or 16 hours, which is just delightful because now I can show you guys over the last 2 days since I last spoke to you. These are the overall upgrades that I've got. And yes, he's still going. Cornelius is now up to 69 pace, 70 dribbling, 98 shooting, and is my joint highest rated player now as an 80. And of course, he did not start out that way. He is the biggest grower, bar Eberl and Mezaros, which I bought them already with growth anyway. But we've got a +6 on him overall. He started as a 74. He is now up to an 80. And it leaves me with a really interesting conundrum. Because he's got 98 shooting, do I just keep loaning him out to like bronze or silver until I'm in bronze or silver, hopefully? Do I sell him because with 98 shooting, maybe he's hit his peak? You know, how much are his other stats going to come up? If his pace and dribbling can come up by another like 5 or 6, he could genuinely end up being like an outrageous player. Do I just hold on to him and just keep trying to get him good training and good match XP? Because, hey, what if he's a 90, 95 rated or so player? He could be absolutely insane. Or do I use him? I don't think we're going to get promoted this season now. We'll get into that in a moment. But I've got other focuses now. But I do think an 80 rated with 98 shooting could be an incredible differential in the leagues. And so very, very happy with his growth. The truth be told, though, guys, over the last 2 days, I haven't had much growth. Gegor Gita is now up to a 80 rated by just gaining 1 dribbling. Cornelius has gone up by a +1 again, but he's gained 1 shooting, 1 passing, 1 dribbling, and 1 pace with that. We got 1 dribbling on Hedstrom, a +1 on the goalkeeper Brooks, which is quite nice to be fair, because he's only 23 years old. And that's the other thing about Cornelius as well. He's only 21 years old, which is quite good. We got a little bit of extra shooting there on Manrique, which is nice. We've got +1 on De Angelis, but dribbling and passing. Noble got a passing boost. Behan got a passing and a +1. Xander got a dribbling boost up to 75. He's kind of like my Aparicio V2, guys. I'm really starting to like this guy because as a 59 rated left mid, 83 pace and 75 dribbling is really strong with 60 passing. That is quite good. Outside of that, we got a little +1 on Barry there. He's been a good grower this season in general. We've got a little +1 pace there on Rodriguez, and then a few other little +1s here and there, guys, on these like lower rated players. But for these extremely low rated players, you kind of really want them to like go. And if we look at this season of growth, I don't really have too many of the kind of grey players that have really gone. We've got Cornelius on a +5, Mezados on a +3, and then it's just like 3s and 2s. And so it's not like the most impressive thing in the world, but hey, you're playing the odds game, right? Hopefully over time, something will be fixed there. And yeah, let's start with the results for the last couple of days before we get onto some comments from the last few days. So I actually had a decent time of it. I think we're 2 games back in now as well, aren't we? I think this game was not yesterday, the day before. Yeah, the 4th of the 4th, so 2 days ago. So you guys haven't seen these results. So in terms of Team Sweat's results, I got a 5-0 loss to Flippable, who are currently 3rd, and a 1-0 loss to LD Salmaik. It does leave us rock bottom of the table, and there is a massive discrepancy between myself and, myself, Wolfpack, and then Sacred Pillars and above. If my understanding is correct, and this is still the reality of the situation, both of these teams will just lose every game, give or take, for the rest of the season because they're not rotating. My 1-0 loss here, though, a deserved loss, but a painful loss. You know, we got some good XG here, and what I liked about this is 50, 51, 46, 48, 53, 50. This guy is really high up in the table. And the reason why I say I like that is because if he, wait, how? You know, if he's up there, maybe he rotated against me and that would make a lot more sense. But if he's up there in 5th place right now, literally fighting for that, like, potential promotion, is this the quality of this league just that bad? Or did he just rotate against me? The quality of the league is just that bad. It is just that bad. That actually makes it a little bit more painful that I don't have more points. We've got Road to Glory, guys. Road to Glory has got... sorry, just to finish off on Team Sweat, we have got a cup game today at 3:20, which is quite nice. I did see a comment from a few days ago where somebody said they'd like to see like my live reaction to some games. I will when there's a game that's really impactful, I think. Like, just looking at certain league games and stuff, not really overly interested in. Obviously, I want to win these cup games as well because the MFL from them would be really nice. But yeah, I think when it comes time to watch a real fun one, we will. Road to Glory is up in 8th right now. 8th or 7th is just going to be where we finish. We got a 4-3 loss to Bex Bremen, who are a bit of a better team than us, a bit higher there. But, you know, tough one. I think I pulled it back 2-4-3. Yeah, I did in the 91st minute. Just good, obviously, to get some decent match ratings and maybe some decent XP. This one was frustrating. I think Mole Academy are one of the lower teams. Oh, no, they're right above me. I don't know why. I had it in my brain that they were one of the worst teams, but they're not actually. They're a significantly better team than us. And so drawing 2-2 of that is actually a really, really good result. No complaints there then. I don't know why. I thought they were like way worse. We've got Lima Pacificos up next. They're currently 4th in the table. We don't play them until tomorrow. There is cup games today, and Road to Glory is out of the cup. Moving on then, guys, to NepentheZ FC. And we got a 2-1 loss and a 1-1 draw. And of course, getting draws is always frustrating, but both, like, we're bottom of the table here, and we only have 2 points. So picking up a point is nice, right? However, I'm hopeful that over time we'll be able to surpass 11th and 10th. But this team, it always was going to be an absolute smasher, you know, a team that gets smashed. We've only scored 4 goals all season, and 2 of them came in the last 2 games. But we got a 1-1 draw with Yin and Yang. We did get 2 XG on them. I think they might have rotated against us, actually. And that's what kind of saved us there from taking an absolute pounding. But nice performance there. And then, well, 2-1 loss anyway, we lost. And then here, we get the draw. Again, it wasn't that awful of a performance. We got some good ratings against Malamatina. And I think their team is like quite a lot better than ours. Yeah, 6 better defending, 13 better in the midfield, and 7 better in the offense. So to get a 1-1 draw here, very, very, very surprising. And it was 60th minute. Mitchell got the equaliser, and we managed to just not concede throughout the rest of the game. So, listen, it's the season it's supposed to be. What's going to be really interesting is the restructure of how I do things. And I do want to talk a little bit today about, once we get through everything, about what the next steps are for next season. Because with the Spark League being here, and MFL announced yesterday that there's already been over 700 Spark League license purchases, which is insane. But with the Spark League coming, obviously next season, I won't be getting relegated this season. So we'll have another season in Ice with NepentheZ FC. I've got to have a think now about how I want to navigate the Ice teams that I've got and whether or not I want to start filling them up with players that have a better opportunity of getting promoted or just competing in general, or if I want to let them just kind of die, pick up the MFL that they can get, and then drop down a division and be a bit more competitive in a division below. So maybe like I might do like a season 5 tactics, or not tactics video, but season 5 strategy video way before season 5 starts, to just give my thoughts on what I do actually plan to do. For First Owner FC, guys, we managed to get a 2-1 loss and a 2-0 loss. And what's been really interesting about First Owner FC here, as you can see, even though we're 11th in the table, you know, we could potentially finish 9th or 8th. Goulson Bears look like they're a little bit in between, but we could potentially get a few extra wins as the zombie teams start like really losing stamina and whatnot as we go forwards. But what's been really fun to notice since the 6-0 win there against L'Héritier is even these losses, we're not getting smashed. And that's quite interesting. It must mean the quality of the team is at least somewhat competitive. But we lost 2-0 to the Rijeka Raiders, who are up there in 6th place right now. We lost 2-1 to Milan Singer, who are up in 5th right now. But once again, guys, we didn't get humiliated. And the reason why that's important is because other than Malik, they're on a 5.8, and us actually having 1.85 XG and still losing. And my tactics must be good because my team should not be creating that much. Yeah, other than that, it's like we're getting reasonable match ratings. I'm curious as well. This is something I really want to test out with the team next season, like really test out and have just a dedicated team to this strategy. Even though the ratings here are lower, if they've got really good stats for the players that they are, like for example, you get 51 centre-back, but if I've got a 51 centre-back with like, let's say 70 defending and then just dead stats elsewhere, and I just put them on stay in position, strict with that regard, and like non-risky passing, you know, just safe passing, will they just perform massively? Like how important when we look at the match engine is defense for a defender versus physical or dribbling or passing? Like, would a defender with, say, 70 defense just completely obliterate an attacker with, say, 60 shooting? I don't know is the answer, and I wouldn't mind trying it. Because sometimes I get some like shock results like this, and I think, is it my tactics, or is it the fact that I've just got some players that have some really cool properties? Like Fabry, for example, has got 87 pace. Now, when we look at my opponent's defenders, he's got 75 pace there. He's got 58 pace. He's got 63 pace. He's got 72 pace. Like, Fabry is just faster than all of them. Maybe not his left wing, or he is still a little bit. But is that, like, blistering pace a reason why he's managed to have a cracking game? Because he's just way faster than the players that are there. Even though when he gets the ball, he can't pass, he can't shoot, he can barely dribble. But for a 45 rated, that's not bad. And so I wonder if there's not necessarily a way to exploit the situation, but certainly a way to kind of turn it in your favor of having a low-rated player and a low-rated overall, but actually having a significant impact tactically with these players. Because this obviously looks like it was a really unlucky loss, to be fair. You know, we had more XG with the same amount of chances, which means the quality of my chances were better, and my players just didn't take them. And Malik as a 57 rated with 56 shooting versus a 63 rated with 68 shooting and a 62 rated with 58 shooting. I wonder if I had Malik on, say, 68, 69, 70 shooting as a 57 rated player, would he have just bagged 2 or 3 goals this game and maybe I'll win the game? I don't actually know. But in terms of where First Owner FC is, guys, of course, we are bottom of the table, but we've got some cup games today. And before we look at Prestige 26, as we look at the schedule, we have got a game against Yaoundé White Walkers, Chester Ducklings, Pancho's MFC, and at 5 to 5, we have got MFC Sama. Now, I looked at MFC Sama and I thought, ooh, they're in ice. That's nice. But the reality of the situation is their team is brilliant. 71, 70, and 78. Like, this striker, oh, he was captain, but still, it's crazy. He was up against 10 men here. So yeah, I looked at the division. It's like, oh, they're top. Southend Strimpers are there as well. And I think, I don't actually know in these moments if the projection site has updated for now. What Ice League is he in? Ice 85. Let's have a little look here at Ice 85. I'm not sure how quickly they get upgraded. Oh, yeah. I mean, his best 11 is 801. His best average is 72.8. His best 16 is 71.8. It is not even entirely possible. It is probable that I lose this game because he's just got a team that is so much better than Ice should be. Now, when we look at the best 11 projection in Stone, I've gained +6 during the transfer window because, of course, that's my players that have elevated there. And it is really close, guys. It's really close between 3rd through 6th in terms of the best 16. So kind of tactics and things like that are really going to play the important dividend kind of thing. I'm not sure if Qatari Pula or Cremona actually bought new players in or if they just got growth on the players that they've got. But as we do go into Prestige 26 now, yeah, so also on this cup game here, guys, if I win this round, my next opponent, if it wants to load in here, is going to be either FC Soccer Club or Deuce Poseidon. And of course, Deuce Poseidon is managed by none other than Air Japes. So it could be a clash of the ages between myself and Air Japes there. But looking at Prestige 26, guys, I decided not to bring any more players in. I got a disappointing 1-1 draw and a narrow 2-1 win. And something has felt wrong. The start of the season, and you can see here, like, the general campaign was phenomenal for me. You know, I lost to Guayaquil. I thought I'd do a bit better. I beat Huracan Cordoba, which was good. Like, we're getting, like, comfortable wins. A 4-0 win against Eagles. Some draws against some of the better teams, a 2-0 win against Masilla that we've now recently drawn with. But then something just changed. And it's like, I don't know if other people are getting better. I don't know if I was just getting lucky. You know, I don't know if it literally was just like a RNG thing. So I tried a few games of a different tactic. Didn't really work. I went back to my other tactic. We got this 1-1 draw here with Masilla. And it's not even a frustrating draw because they performed quite well. They got a reasonable amount of XG. They've got a reasonable team as well. It's actually mad to see the fact that this team is in the position it's in the league, which is 9th. However, they're only 6 points behind me. So, you know, that they could easily finish 3rd. I mean, it is so close. It's only 8 points between 3rd and 9th, which is a bit mad. And then I got the 2-1 win against Belo Horizonte, who are 11th in the table. They've won 1 game all season, and that was against the bottom team. They've got 2 draws in there as well. And I went into that game feeling confident. I've got way better team. I did rotate a little bit, but I've got 4 more defense, 3 more midfield, 8 more attack, and my attack is almost 10 more better than their defense. It wasn't until the 91st minute that we won the game with a rebound goal from Tajima. I scored very early on as well. The 5th minute from Abel. Here is Abel, hits that shot, and then Tajima. And as soon as I saw this goal, I knew what my problem was. I knew where my tactical error was. And the place that it was is when he gets here and he shoots from here, I've got him on shoot from range lots. I just need to turn it off. He had so much more space to run into to get a better shooting opportunity than he did. And it makes me wonder, is this why? Like, look here. I mean, there's just options there. He could just drive straight down here and then get a shot in. He could wait for the run, make a pass, and then get the shot in. Instead, he shoots from here. And this will obviously add XG, right? And I just wonder if my XG is quite high quite a lot because I'm taking a lot of shots from range that are giving a small amount of XG instead of a lot of shots of quality that are giving better chances. We did get the rebound in there in the end, which was nice, of course. And, you know, I did dominate the XG. But this is what I'm saying. I got 2.2 XG from 19 shots. He got 0.96 XG from 8 shots. that's fairly similar in terms of like XG per shot, I suppose. But when we look at the match report and look at the shots, and it would be really nice to see like have like a heat map for the shots. When we look at the match report and just look at my team and just look at the shots, Burl 3 shots from 9 on target, Tajima 2 shots from 5 on target. Hedstrom's okay with 2 shots from 4 on target. That's okay for a right mid. It's good that he's getting a decent amount there, but only 5 shots on target from 14 from my 2 strikers. And the reason why that's an issue is because Burl's got 82 shooting and Tajima's got 75. For the quality of the league, that's really good shooting stats. And so I don't know. Well, I do know. I think I need a tactical change. So for this season, for Prestige 26, one of the reasons why I chose not to improve the squad is because I feel like I can still get promoted from the division without improving it. But I also feel like that if I don't get promoted from the division without improving it, I don't mind too much, because I think what I would want to do is bring in some of my blue cards for next season, potentially, and try and win the division comfortably and get promoted into a league with my own players where I can then stay and maintain in the league. I'll explain in a little bit more detail in a moment. But yeah, obviously, like, there's 4 of us. There's 2 clear teams, which is Cremona and Qatari Pula. Then there's 4 of us, Guayaquil, Boro, myself, and I think it was the Kamikaze Koalas, actually. It might have been Racing Club Tunisiano, who have all got basically the same best 16 average, right? And so it is just going to be, like, even if I did improve my team by 10 ratings across the board or whatever, I don't think it will necessarily make the biggest difference throughout the course of the campaign. And, we're 7 points behind second and 8 behind first now. I have got a tough game in the next match day against Cremona MFC. Obviously, I expect to lose out. I might even rotate away in that game and just put my reserve players in to get full fitness back on my stronger players, because, of course, we're going to have I don't want to say more important matches coming up, but I've got an easy game against Breeze. Then I've got Qatari Pula, who I can beat, and, that could put me back up into that area. Racing Club Tunisiano, who I can beat. Saido, who I should beat. Kamikaze Koalas, who I can beat. Huragan, who I should beat. Bora Azteca. That'll be a tough game. And then the last game against Guayaquil. These 2 games here against 2 of the toughest teams in the league might just end up being like the deciding factor of whether we finish in that top 3 or not. And you can see in terms of the form table, I'm the worst, right? 3 losses, a draw and a win. Nobody has that kind of form down here. Like, it's almost like bottom half form. So I just feel like something's not quite working perfectly for me, and I don't really want to like throw money into the team to try and get promoted. Like, one of the things I love about MFL, and one of the things I really wanted to focus on with MFL, was working up the divisions and working out how to move up the divisions whilst working up the divisions, not just being like, oh, my team's not good enough, let me go and buy some more big players and just have the best team. I really want to play the game in a manner that makes sense for enjoyment levels. There would be nothing fun, for example, in my opponent here, Mr. MSC Sama. I couldn't imagine this would be enjoyable for the way I would want to play the game, because he's got the best team by a considerable margin. He wins almost every game. He smashes every team that he plays against, and his team is just so good that he could probably get double promotion. And I don't draw fun out of that. It just wouldn't be fun for me when it comes down to being like a foregone conclusion of, hey, I'm just going to win the league. So I don't mind the jeopardy in the league. I think it makes for a better story, and it makes for a little bit more engagement, a little bit more entertainment. But I would obviously like to do better. And when we look at the issues we've got here, Qatari Pula, you can see, have only conceded 8 goals and only scored 21. I don't score as many as the other guys around me, even though I've got really good attackers for the division. But I concede a lot of goals compared to the players around me, even though I've got really good defenders for the division. And so I don't know, that there is an issue with the way my tactics are set up, and I'm going to need to figure that out ASAP if I do really want to go get pushed for promotion and get up the table. And then finally, guys, a few comments from the last few videos. There was one comment I just wanted to address real quick. That is a bit of a funny one, a bit of an interesting one, because it got quite a few people reached out, said some stuff, which is quite interesting given how few views these videos get. It just shows what kind of awesome community we've got here. But Steven specifically says, are you okay? What happened at 13:52? Take care, mate. Talking about a video from a day or two ago where at 13 minutes 52 in a video, I'm just kind of like this. And it looks strange. And I watched it back. I was like, I remembered what I did. I should have just edited it out. I had like, I don't know, disgusting to say. I had like some phlegm in my throat. I just needed to like clear it and swallow it. So I was like kind of sat there, kind of like trying to clear it because it was bothering me. And I just didn't cut it out of the video. So it did look weird. It looked like I was, I don't know, going crazy or something. Outside of that, Cameron Burke says, how do you list someone for loan? I cannot figure it out. So to list somebody from loan, or for loan, should I say, go to your players. When you get into the players right here, guys, click on these 3 little yellow dots, set availability, and then there you go. This is the options for loan. So you click on open to offers. You accept you set the divisions that you want them for. Auto accept if you're happy for the conditions to be met. What I will say, and it does say that there 10% will represent approximately 38% of the matches in the season. I would probably go for 15 matches. Yeah, probably 15 matches. You don't want to put it at 20 matches because I think people won't necessarily be too happy with that. But for a lot of the guys that I've got loaned out, they're all on 10 matches. And it just means that they're just not prioritized. And I obviously want to, I'd rather keep my own player if it meant, I'd get full game time on them opposed to the other thing. And just to talk about a little bit as well about like my own players. So going to my HQ and my players, obviously I now have one of the blues in my own club, but I've got Paulinho, Mantilla, Cornelis and Georgita loaned out. Now they're loaned out to bronze and silver, and they're going to bring in quite a bit of MFL this season thanks to those loan setups. But I was thinking, if I don't get promoted, if I do get promoted this season, I think they're just going to come back into the team anyway. If I don't get promoted this season, I wonder if bringing them into the Stone League, hilarious from me here actually, after just saying that it would be boring having a foregone kind of conclusion of a league, and then me saying, oh hey, I might bring in like 5 rares into my Stone team. So maybe I won't. Maybe a little rethink on that one. But to win this division, you get 10,500 MFL. To win the division above, I'll actually just look at it there. To win the division above, so if we got promoted from Stone to Iron, and then we just had, we got first place in Iron as well, or even like, just promoted in Iron, it's another 16 to 22,000 MFL. But also, so long as we just don't get relegated and just kind of stay in that sort of like 8th, 7th, 6th situation, we will also pick up 10,500 to 12,000 MFL. And I sit here and I wonder, would just harvesting sort of like mid-Iron consistently be better? Or would it not? And now, as I'm kind of like looking at it here now anyway, I think the answer is it wouldn't be, because I've got these players in bronze and silver giving me 5% of a minimum 18.5 twice, and then hopefully somewhere a little bit better around. And then in silver, the MFL scales up quite significantly at that point, doesn't it? So yeah, no, even just looking at this, that's not going to be the play. What I do, as I say, I will do. I think I just need to do a strategy video for season 5, because I need to get in my own head, kind of like spoken into the world, what I actually want to do with each team. The next comment that we've got was from Woot. He says, so I packed a 68 rated 20-year-old uncommon in a starter pack. What do you recommend to do with it? Try to loan it out. Do you think I get better and sell him for a few mud players? So what I wanted to do was just have a little look to see if we could find you, Woot. I wonder if your manager name, yeah, this is you. So you've got a 68 rated. Does look like maybe you've already made your choice. It does look like you made your choice. So it looks like, well, you've already sold him. It's interesting you've got a lot of players listed up. I never do that. I see a lot of managers have that. Like, so if somebody buys them, then happy days. We see your previous transactions. and see who you sold. So you sold Thornton for $35, 68 rated, 20 years old. Obviously, this is his first season. He's got good stats. I personally wouldn't have sold him. However, looking at what you've done with that $35, you've bought a 57, another 57, a 63, a 52, a 51, and a 56. The fact that you've spent that and you've now got 5 extra players, I quite like that. I can't lie. But and my point was going to be when I took this comment to read is one of the things that I love the most about MFL is there is no right answer and there is no wrong answer. There is just your decision with your strategy. I personally would have kept him and used him in one of my teams. How many clubs do you have? You have 2 teams, but they're both in Spark. So using him in Spark would have been a terrible idea for you. But a 68 rated Cam who's 20 years old potentially could have yielded you value over time to being worth more than $35. And the reason why that's a possibility is because you could have definitely loaned him out to a Stone team, and that Stone team would have given you easily 5%. Now, I would have had him, like if I was loaning players out in my Stone team, and I would have absolutely had him for probably like 4%. I don't know. I don't really like 5%. At 5%, you're giving away money, and I'll explain that thought process in a moment as well. But Stone teams would have taken him for 5%, no problem at all. And so now I look at that and I think even if you got mid-table Stone, taking 5% of like, let's say 5,700, you're going to be looking at like, what, 300 MFL plus the cup MFL that you'll get for it. So like maybe 400 or 500 MFL per season. As kind of an average. Like maybe you get a bit more, maybe you get lucky and you're in a team that's like a lot higher, maybe you get a bit less and you're unlucky, but I'd say on average you could probably yield like 400 or 500 MFL from him per season. At that point, I would try and extrapolate the long-term value. First of all, he's only 20, so does he grow? Does he become a 70 rated at the end of this first season, a 72, a 74? Does he tier break into a 75 and become a rare? At which point you can loan him into silver or bronze and get far more MFL. But even if he doesn't, I try and look at what does he earn? Let's say he retires at 35. Let's say he retires at 32, which is the earliest retirement age, and you get 12 seasons of 500 MFL. You're going to get 6,000 MFL off of him. With 6,000 MFL, obviously this is like lifetime MFL, but it extrapolates, right? At 6,000 MFL, you can get 10 of these common player packs. Now, of these 10 common player packs, if one of them becomes similar sort of rating over time, you can farm them out. And if none of them become good players, you could just use them in your own Spark League and like yield off of them instead of selling him and buying those players that you have. Alternatively, like you could sell these players. Now, as we've seen from your own kind of transfers and purchases here, you bought a 25-year-old 56 rated player for $5. Okay, you bought a 51 rated player for $4. So if you got 10 of those packs over his lifetime and they were all as bad as this guy and you sold them for this price, you would make $40 over time by keeping him. And that's presuming that he just maintains. However, and this is what I mean by there is no right answer and there is no wrong answer. The thing that I love is, with what you've done, now would I personally pay $4 for a 51 rated striker / left wing? I probably wouldn't. Would I pay $3 for this guy, 52 rated centre back? You know what? He's not bad. For $3, I quite like him because he's got 62 pace and 70 physical, which is really, really good, and his defense is improving as well. So I don't mind him. It looks like you've got some progression on him as well already. The fact that you sold him and bought these 6 players, the next thing I think then is, okay, now you can yield off of these 6. Maybe you can loan them out. Maybe one of these guys, this guy here, 63 rated centre mid, how much progression has he had? Some progression, especially in terms of his overall. He started as a 59, he's up to a 63. If he becomes a 65 or a 66 over the next season or two, you could do the same thing again. You can sell him, and repeat the process. So like some of these guys might be duds. You might have a 90 rated player in your hands with one of these pickups that you've got. Like there is no right or wrong answer. I think what I personally would have done though is loaned him out. I think for me, my main aim, or at least my like primary goal and primary objective over the course of time, it's not going to be something that can happen easily, or as well due to the fact that each season lasts for 6 real life weeks. My priority will be as much MFL as possible to farm with. The more MFL you get, the more MFL you can make. If you make 600 MFL off your team, you can buy one player. That player then also starts yielding MFL. Of course, there is an end date because they will retire eventually, but you effectively like want every player to yield back more than their value. So every time I open a common player pack, as soon as that player in his lifetime has been valuable enough to have warranted 600 MFL from him alone, they have paid for themselves. The sustainability stays. If one of those players eventually takes off, that's even better because they help yield more. The idea would be to get to a point in time where instead of going for these ones, we go for these ones. Or instead of going for these ones, we go for these ones. The idea really would be to eventually have a kind of agency where I've got 50, 80, 100 rare players that are all like self-owned, that they're all mine from the like grinding up all the way through, that are yielding me so much MFL per season that I can get legendary players consistently. And I don't know if it's ever going to be possible, because I know the way the kind of game is it can't. If everybody could just do that, everyone over time would have infinite legendaries, and that's not the way the game's set up. The game is created in a way to keep the kind of economy balanced and sustainable. But I think I can do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want to try. I want to basically just utilize all the MFL I get. And this season will be, again, the same. This season will be an interesting test, actually, because I should probably pick up somewhere this season around, it's going to be around 30 to 40,000 MFL, depending on how well my cup runs go. And I could get 3 of these. And I sit there and I think, if I get an uncommon like Cornelis, 69 rated, a 74 rated uncommon card that's now an 80 rated and got an elite property within the game. What if I open these packs and I get some more 72, 73, 74 rated players that go on to be 78, 79, 80 rated players? How much more valuable will that be than opening 30,000 MFL or 40,000 MFLs worth of 600 common cards? What would be better? On the flip side, I sit there and think, what if I get 65 rated? That happened to me, right? When we did the pack drop, when the last pack drop came, and I opened those packs, and the green that I got, the uncommon that I got, was literally like a 65 rated or a 66 rated, I beg your pardon. And from the limited pack, I got a 64 rated. And it's like, damn, one of these packs was significantly more expensive, yet the player is only marginally more valuable. And obviously that's the part of packs. That's fine. I'm not like stressed with that. That was my choice to buy it. But when it comes to the reward packs at the end of the season, my opinion is like, lowest common denominator wins, because any player, you could buy a player from here, you could get yourself an 86 rated that has maximum potential in 88, and you could open all of these packs here and you could get 20 players for that same amount of MFL that have maximum potential of 88. And it's like, obviously then you have to train them correctly and get the match XP correctly and stuff. And that is certainly something that I think is going to be my play. And I am going to have, and I'm going off on a tangent now, so excuse the waffle, but I am going to have next season, I think 5 Spark Clubs is what I'm going to go for. But I'm going to have next season like clear outlined understanding of what each club is there for and to do, because I want fun strategies for each club. Like, I really want a club where the only players that are in it are players that it's earned from its own MFL. That will require a spreadsheet for me to track the MFL from a particular club. Like, so Team Sweat, if it earns 3,000 MFL this season, that's 5, 6 packs or whatever for for this club. So those 5 players that I get from those 5 packs will just go into the team. No matter what, they will just go into the team. And then it will like kind of have a spider web after that, because it can get messy. And I wonder, I'd like to hope that there's a potential way that MFL can code into players how much MFL they've earned in their career based on their contract percentages of what they've earned at the end of every season. That would be really fun. If not, I'll just have to track that sort of stuff myself, because I want to see, like, I want to basically follow the strategy and follow the career of a team where I'm like, all right, guys, I've bought 25 $1 players, right? I haven't done that with this squad. Some of them I've already owned, some of them I've purchased. But I want to be like, right, guys, I've got 25 players that I bought for as cheap as possible, $1 or $2, whatever the cheapest market price is at the time. Over time, I've added in my own players. Once it gets to a point where it's only my own players, then when I open the packs, I can loan those players out and they will bring me in more MFL. And so I want to kind of like figure out how long it takes, or just kind of enjoy the journey of this club. This one club is self-sustainable, and it's also now profitable because it's making more MFL than it costs. And if we get a player, we pick up a player out of a common pack and they end up becoming like a 65 or a 68 or a 70 rated, they get loaned out to a different club. The MFL from them still goes onto the spreadsheet or, whatever, to kind of track, oh, hey, like, this season, Team Sweat FC yielded 16,000 MFL, even though the team was only in Ice Division and won 7,000 itself. From everything else that is done, it's yielded all this extra MFL. Then I also want like a club where it's like, I actually just loan in players and I try and do the best job. I try and get promoted with a club full of loanees and I don't own any of the players in the team. And it probably will be Road to Glory, because that was the whole point of this one in the first place that I just got wrong. And, trying to be a smart businessman with getting the kind of MFL revenue down and try and get the club promoted as often as possible, and just do a recycle of players every season. Because if you get promoted one season, with like a lot of loaned in players and you've done well with like the rotations and the development and the training strategy is good and stuff, people will be more inclined to give you their players at a decent price or a decent like MFL share, because they can see historically, oh, damn, he got promoted from Ice to Stone, then Stone to Iron. Now he's in Iron and he wants my player. You know what? He looks like he knows what he's doing. He can have my player. Bang. And all of a sudden, like, maybe it's the possibility of getting that first team actually up the ranks into the really, really high divisions based on your just clever management and not owning any of the players within the team. That would be one of the strategies that I'd want to go with. So there's like a lot. And then one of the other strategies I want to go with, which is something that I touched on earlier on in today's video before we get to the next comment, is understanding, or rather misunderstanding, tactics, but on purpose. I've got players, for example, like Aparicio, who is so good because he's got 92 pace and it doesn't factor into his rating at all. So in terms of the league standards, 82 dribbling and 81 passing is crazy for a 73 rated midfielder. And then he's got insane pace. And so when we actually look at like his stats for this season, he's got 3 assists in 3 games in the cup, and then he's got 3 goals and 7 assists in 11 games in the league. He's literally got 13 goal contributions in 14 games in competitive games, because he's not playing, he's only played 3 of the cup games because he didn't play the easy ones. He didn't play the game against the lowest team in the league because I'm not here to farm his stats. I'm here to try and win. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with farming stats either. I'd love for him to win like an assist award or something like that. But he's just, generally speaking, doing incredibly well because his stats are different to his overall. And I want to find players. And one other thing that I've got massively wrong this season, which I've learned as I've gone, I'm still, 8 weeks into playing this game, 9-10 weeks into playing this game myself. But one of the things that I've massively got wrong, especially when I was starting out on these feeder teams, is I just looked for the cheapest player, not the best player. And so, for example, like Montoya here, who's currently playing at centre-back for me, has 47 defending. My backup left-back, my left-back and my backup left-back have got 40 and 39 defending. Now, they are 49 and 47 rated. if we go to the, let's actually go to the marketplace and go for a left back and just go for a maximum of $2 and apply, and then find the highest defending. There was only about 6 players there. I should have just looked, shouldn't I? But when it brings in the highest defending, they're only at 44 to be fair, but that's still 4 more defending and a good amount of physical there for this left back. And it's like he would be way better than my left back because he's got 10% extra defending compared to what mine has got. He's got good physical and he's got good pace. Now for a 50 rated left back, this is a decent card. Obviously, if you increase the price by $1 more, maybe you get somebody with even, look, this is just a much better option again. Because even though he's only 49 rated, he's probably got left back as a familiar position, which means he only loses 1 stat. So he gets 50 pace, 53 defending, 59 physical, and 51 dribbling. That's really good for a 49 rated player. I want to try and find the players, and there will be a lot more ability to find these players at the end of the season when everyone starts ripping packs. Obviously, right now, people are coming in. They're doing the Redemption Cup 1 and 2. They're sweeping the floor of the $1 and $2 players because there's not enough players in the moment. As you guys win your MFL and start ripping your packs, the market's going to get flooded with these like low-rated piles of crap again. And that's where it's going to be fun to try and find that defender that is just like oh damn, like this guy here. You're 49 rated, but you've got 57 defending, 63 physical, 63 dribbling, and 66 pace. Wait, is he $3? He's $2. Now he's got centre back. Oh, sorry, he's got right back as the familiar position, which also means he only loses 1 stat. Now, as the 49 rated right back, he smokes my defenders. Can we compare? Hold on, let me add him to my watch list. I actually just think I'm going to buy him. Can I add my own players to my watch list? Because I want to take my right back from here. I don't even think I'm going to buy him because he looks fascinating. It was the left backs that I had, wasn't it? Yeah. So my left backs here are also 49 rated for Santana. He's got decent pace and decent dribbling for a left back. I wonder if he's got left mid as an alternate position. He doesn't. But his defending, passing, and physical is terrible. So let me add him to the watch list. The watch list, hopefully they expand them a little bit because it would be nice to be able to like compare with certain situations because I've already got somebody there. Now, when we look at attributes, we've got 49 rated left back and then a 49 rated centre mid / right back. The centre mid / right back is 6'4". He has got 4 more pace, 5 less dribbling, 4 less passing, loads less shooting, but who cares? 16 less shooting. He then has 18 more defending and 8 more physical. So even though, and this is where I was kind of getting at with like the way that I've really played it wrong. Like, you know, my first season was just learning the game. My second season was thinking I knew it all. My third season is going to be me having a harsh reality adjustment of like really like relearning or just like continuing to learn, because these 2 players, okay, they're a left back and a right back. So it's, you know, but, you know, it's 6 and 2 threes in that regard. One of these, they're both 49 rated. One of these is a significantly better fullback than the other. And yet they're both the same rating. And I didn't look at that before. I just looked at, I don't even know if I bought this guy, if I just packed him. Yeah, so I packed him. I saw 49 rated left back. I was like, nice, let me put him into one of my teams. Not even looking at, does he have any value in a team? Does he have any value at all? Is this the sort of player that I should be selling for $2? Because he's just not him. Do you know what I mean? You can't use him as a left mid. You can use him as left wing back, but he's not very good there. He's got terrible defending. Like, if he had left mid as a familiar position, I think he wouldn't be a bad left mid. He'd have good pace, good dribbling, good shooting, okay passing, and good physical for his rating. But he doesn't. So when I look at this Griffin, how many seasons has he been around for? He's been around for 4 seasons already. Now, he's one of Make Thinks players, so I presume he has got a lot of game time. Not really. 10 games season 1, no game season 2, no training season 2 either. 10 games season 3 with a really poor average rating. This is the first season where he's actually got decent rating and decent games. In terms of like potential growth, I don't think he has the ability to be a high-rated player. You know, maybe he'll definitely go up to a 50, but I don't think he'll ever get close to that sort of 55, 56 rating. But in terms of being a usable player in, for example, the Spark League, I think he is a banging option for the Spark League because he's got good pace, good dribbling, good defending, and good physical for a 49 rated. And so for that reason, I'm going to buy him. I know we don't get anything from him. He's there for one season. I won't be able to sign him to another club before the contract expires. That's fine. That means he's still going to get the training and stuff. I wonder if he has any rev share, because if he does, no, he doesn't. There you go. He's contracted to Colossus FC with 0% rev share. Although I won't get him as my player or anything off of him until the end of the season, as a fullback, and this is the thing, right? As a centre mid, he's awful. And this is what I'm saying about like maybe some of my other players as well. As a centre mid, he's awful because he's got really poor shooting and really poor passing. But because he's got right back as as a familiar position, he only loses +1 in stats. So he's going to have 65 pace, 62 dribbling, 56 defending, and 62 physical, which is so much better than the players that I've got. In fact, if we even look at him compared to the right backs that I've got that were actually half decent, where I was like, oh, actually, it wasn't my right backs, it was my left backs. Let's take a look at my right backs here. 50 rated, same physical, 10 less defending on Montoya, even though he's playing at centre-back. A little less shooting on Montoya, more passing on Montoya, way less dribbling, and way less pace on Montoya. And if we look at him compared to Ackerman, who I always read as Hackerman, because, you know, obvious. So Hackerman's got a little bit more pace, 2 less defending, 15 less physical, 15 less passing, and 23 less dribbling. So yeah, he's got a little bit extra pace, but his other stats are really terrible. So I really want to make sure next season for my like crap teams, the players that I've got are players with extremely good stats for the positions that they're going to be playing in. Because I think it's just something I personally massively overlooked this year. Or this season, and I just thought that rating was the only relevant factor. And that's why sometimes when we look at, for example, this game here, and I look at this and I thought with this draw, I was like, God damn, like I did good, you know. Okay, I didn't quite get the same XG or anything, but this guy's got 6 more defending and 13 more midfield and 7 more attack. But the reality is has he, or has he just got, you know, really bad players that, well, this guy's a perfect example of like a really good player, huge defense for a 53 rated, but then he's got a 68 rated who's only got 69 defense. I actually don't know how that guy's 68 rated, to be fair. 67 physical as well is quite good. Damn, man. Looking at that 49 rated has got 11 more pace, 18 more shooting, 6 less passing only, the same dribbling, and then 13 less physical and 12 less defending, but is 29 ratings lower. And so, to make a really, 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 really long story short, the overall rating is irrelevant. It's the stats and how you use the players that make sense. And I didn't do that this season at all, / well enough. There was 2 more comments. So Luke says, are there hidden stats like composure, which might be why your striker missed the target so much? To my understanding, in these moments, no. It is just the stats that you see are the stats that there are. And last but not least, LFCPS says, things I went into blind with MFL and still trying to understand and figure out. License over buying a club. So when it comes to buying a license, when you buy that license, the location is randomized, so you might get a really cool location or not. Location ultimately is meaningless in the game, at least in this moment. And then obviously you can buy a club from the marketplace, which right now the cheapest one is $74. So you might ask yourself, well, why wouldn't I buy this $74 club? Why would I spend $79.99 on buying the license? In my personal opinion, there's 2 massive reasons. Reason number 1 is because if you bought this club, and you now own this club, it's not assigned to a league, so you can't do anything with it, which you wouldn't be able to do with your club either. But yeah, it's not assigned to a league at all. The other reason is because the history. Now, this is a club that I wouldn't actually mind buying because it has no history. But a lot of clubs that are up for sale have a history attached to them. I want my history in the club. That's it for me, really. Obviously, the other thing that you could do when it comes to buying a club rather than buying a license is that you can buy a club in the top league in the game if you wanted. $10,000 it would cost you. But if you were like, I just want to be in Diamond League straight away, you can go and buy a Biscione Milano. In the Platinum League, $1,100. For the Gold League, $600. I actually think a Platinum club sold for like $300 some odd the other day. If I saw that, I would have bought that. For the Silver League, like if you just wanted to be like, right, I just want to get involved at this, at a really high point, $300. So if you bought a club license, you start at the bottom. For me, that's a far more engaging and enjoyable way to play the game. But yeah, you start at the bottom. You then said free agents, loans, or packs. I think I've kind of covered that by just talking naturally today. But there is no right or wrong there. Free agents, loans, or packs, you do you at the end of the day. Everyone's going to have their own strategy. A mix of all three is fine. Focusing on one is fine. Having a different club for each one is fine. Creating the club badge, I spent more time than anything. It looks basic. So what I did for my club badges, and my ability for prompts isn't very good, but I went on to ChatGPT's image generator and just asked it, and this is what it created for me, these ones here. As I say, like, learning how to prompt AI is something that I'm actively doing in my life right now because I find it fascinating. And I think over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, people who are better at AI, better at asking AI for explicitly what they want, will kind of rise above in many regards. I think learning how to use AI, I think, is like a skill set and a tool that everyone should focus on. And when you see some of these clubs, it's like, this is probably AI made, and if it is, this is great. I know this is AI, and I know this is AI because it looks like the kind of stuff that I get when I prompt AI. But yeah, it's this is AI for sure. AI is just a good way to make your badge, basically. And the last comment that you had was tactics and player settings. So I'm still learning on that one myself, actually. And I don't have a good answer for it because I don't know. Like, there's a few things that make sense in my brain when doing tactics and player instructions that don't translate well in game. There's a few things that don't make sense in my head that translate well in game. I've got Aparicio, for example, on being direct, even though the team instructions is also being direct. I've got his dribbling on dribble more often because he's got really high dribbling. I've got his passing risk on risky because he's got really good passing. But what I haven't got anything with this regard is I don't have that connected to the other players in the team. Like, if he's playing really risky passes and my strikers just aren't there, what's the point? So yeah, I need to personally, tactics is one of the areas I need to work on a lot more myself as well. So if anyone's got any great tactical advice, feel free to put it down below. But for today, guys, that is going to be the end. It's been a very, very long video. As always, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. I'm out. Peace.